climate change withdrawal, while US states and other prominent voices vow to respect American engagements. The US succeeds in getting China on board as the UN slams more sanctions on North Korea over its repeated missile tests. Countdown to the British election, a TV audience grills the Prime Minister and main opposition leader on the imminent Brexit talks and much more. The White House is standing by Donald Trump's decision to pull the US out of the Paris Accord on climate change and refusing to say whether the president believes in the phenomenon or not. While protesters outside make clear their objections, there are signs of division across the United States. The administration's top Green official defended America's record.
We have nothing to be apologetic about as a country. We've reduced our CO2 footprint to levels of the early 1990s. In fact, from 2000 to 2014, we reduced our carbon footprint by up over 18%. And that's been largely accomplished through innovation and technology, not government mandate. So when we look at issues like this, we are leading with action and not words.
The Democratic governors of several states have vowed to respect the Paris deal. A former New York mayor, now a special UN envoy on climate change, says the US can still meet its commitments.
The fact of the matter is, Americans don't need Washington to meet our Paris commitment. And Americans are not going to let Washington stand in the way of fulfilling it. That's the message that mayors, governors, and business leaders across the United States have been sending.
The Paris Accord, signed by nearly 200 countries, aims to limit global warming to 2 degrees Celsius or less by the end of the century. Evangelical Christian groups, most of whose supporters voted for Trump in last year's election, have strongly condemned the president's move.
Sírvanse levantar la mano.
The United Nations Security Council has expanded targeted sanctions against North Korea after its repeated missile tests in defiance of a UN resolution. Adopted unanimously by the 15-member council, it includes a travel ban and asset freeze on more bodies and officials, including the head of Pyongyang's overseas spying operations.
The Security Council is sending a clear message to North Korea today. Stop firing ballistic missiles or face the consequences. We have never closed the door to dialogue with North Korea. But as we have said before, all options for responding to future provocations must remain on the table.
The US has been pressing China to rein in its neighbor. This is the first such resolution agreed by the US and Pyongyang's major ally since President Trump took office. The ambassador said China is opposed to missile launches conducted by North Korea. The resolution adopted by the Council today has demonstrated the united position of the international community. The measures could have been agreed behind closed doors, but Washington convinced China to back a public vote. The US has struggled to slow North Korea's nuclear and missile development programs. The matter's become a security priority, given Pyongyang's vow to develop a nuclear-tipped missile capable of hitting the US. Britain's